As the running back bursts through the hole, he is met with a single challenger, the middle linebacker. And as they meet, they collide head to head. Both fall to the ground. Both get up, both confused. One goes to the sidelines, the other one just goes right back to the huddle. The one who went to the sidelines goes to the trainer, says he can't remember anything. The trainer then diagnoses him with a concussion. There are several ways a concussion can occur, the most frequent being a helmet-to-helmet hit in football, or maybe a basketball to the head. Now, since the athlete's head is an integral part of the sport that they play, concussions are a real and a persistent injury endured by athletes. When I was in 8th grade, and last night, I suffered mild concussions. And when I got knocked out, everybody happened to be green when I got back up. It's an estimated 1.6 to 3.6 million people every year are diagnosed with concussions in the United States. It is a major concern, and we must address it right away. Now, concussions are just not an injury that a football player suffers, but anybody who plays a sport or does an activity can suffer. In this speech, I will inform my audience what concussions are, who is most susceptible, and ways to prevent concussions from happening. So first, I'll present to you what concussions are and what they exactly do to a person. Knowing what a concussion is the first step, and the next step is knowing the symptoms of a concussion. There are several and technical formal definitions of a concussion. According to the Mayo Clinic, a concussion is a traumatic brain injury that alters the way your brain functions. According to Oxford University Press, a concussion is a temporary unconsciousness caused by a blow to the head. There are many symptoms of a concussion, such as memory loss, dizziness, constant headaches, concentration issues, emotion swings, balance problems, and sensitivity to light. Knowing those symptoms will help you identify a concussion much more quickly. But now that you know what a concussion is, but do you know who's at risk for injury? Knowing who's susceptible to a concussion is a critical step in avoiding injury. Do not think you're not invincible to concussions and that you cannot be affected. Older adults are more susceptible to concussions because of the balance problems, and younger children who are unaware of their surroundings can bump into anything at any time. So that brings up the gender question. Are men more susceptible than women because they play football? A study done by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention showed that in 2010, 932.1 males were diagnosed with concussions, while only 720.3 females were diagnosed with the same injury. That's only a 29% difference between genders. The stat is inflated because, of course, males are involved in more contact sports. What are some situations, though, that a person might find themselves susceptible to sustaining a concussion? One would be an automobile collision. Another would be combat. ATV, motorcycle, bicycle, boat collisions, physical abuse, tripping on an object and falling head-on, like you tripped on the coffee table and fell straight on a triangle that happens to be laying in your house. And any other major contact sport like baseball, basketball, hockey, and maybe wrestling. Now that you realize that you're not invincible, how can you treat and prevent a concussion? When you visit your doctor for your concussion, there are many ways to treat a concussion and how to avoid another one in the future. First, bed rest, fluid intake, and aspirin are recommended by eMedicine Health. Avoiding any vigorous activities like intense running or powerlifting, as mentioned by Mayo Clinic. Restraining from any school activities such as tests and regular homework from Mrs. Kern, suggested by WebMD. Sometimes you need to wear sunglasses to avoid the sensitivity of light. And the last one would be, don't participate Ultimate Fighter or MMA with your friends after school. There are several ways to prevent a concussion from ever happening. If you've ever suffered a concussion, for happening again. First, you need to wear certified headgear while playing contact sports. Second, chin up. 3, always wear a seatbelt at all times. You never know. Avoid drugs and alcohol while trying to stabilize the mind. Cocaine is not going to get rid of your concussion. I'm sorry. And always be constantly aware of your surroundings. Like there's a door there, there's a window there. So, let's sum up what we've learned today. You've learned that concussions are traumatic brain injuries that alter the way the brain functions. Concussions can damage a person's life and limit them physically and mentally for the rest of their lives. Knowing the risks of sustaining a concussion and using the treatment and prevention techniques will help decrease your chance of suffering concussion in the near future. You've now learned that you're not invincible, and you can suffer a concussion. And the next time you perform a vigorous activity like knitting, remember, chin up. I want to challenge you to learn more about concussion prevention and try to spread awareness about concussions. Safety is always the best when playing the game of life. So if you're driving through the lane, or you're running home, or you're bursting through that hole, remember, keep that head up. Wayne's World, party on.